Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. It's Saturday, the 12th of April, and welcome to our Saturday evening news programme, coming to you live from the heart of Wyke, Regis. And in the news this week, officers from Dorset Police are appealing for witnesses or anyone with relevant dashcam footage to come forward following a road traffic collision in Weymouth that left a teenage cyclist with serious injuries. Dorset Police received a report at 5:26 p.m. on Thursday, the 10th of April, of a road traffic collision involving a van and a cyclist on the Esplanade near to the Jubilee Clock. The cyclist, a teenage boy, was taken to hospital by air ambulance for treatment to life-changing injuries. He remains in hospital and his family are aware. Following initial inquiries at the scene, a man was arrested on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm and driving offences. He has been released under investigation as further inquiries are carried out to establish the full circumstances of what happened. Detective Constable Mark Barrett of Dorset County CID said, "We are carrying out a thorough investigation to establish the full circumstances of this incident, and I'm keen to hear from anyone with information that might assist our inquiries. We understand there were a number of people in the area at the time, and I would urge anyone who witnessed the collision or the moments leading up to it to please get in touch if you have not already spoken to the police. I'm also keen to hear from anyone who may have captured relevant dashcam footage. As ever, if you want to contact Dorset Police about this or any other incident, you can contact them by calling 101. If you wish to give any information anonymously, you can do this via the Crime Stoppers charity on 0800 555 111. Now, this week, Weymouth Town Council held a family fun day and the official opening of a new building at Tumbledown, which is transforming the space for the benefit of the wider community. The events provided a chance for residents and councillors to take a look around the former farm on Radipole Lane and get a tour of the new building, which features a new classroom, toilets and a teaching kitchen. Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor John Orell, was joined by the High Sheriff of Dorset, Callum Bremner. Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor Orell, cut the ribbon and unveiled Kestrel Barn, the name for the new building. He said, "It has been an exciting week for Tumbledown. The weather has been glorious and we were able to welcome so many families to the site for the free community event in the school holidays. I hope everyone has had a great time." During his speech, the Mayor thanked a range of supporters and volunteers who have helped with the transformation so far, including the organisations who contributed financially to the project. These included the Nuclear Restoration Service, who provided £85,000, Dorset Council, who provided £25,000, and Low Carbon Dorset, just under £12,000. The new building complements the existing facilities, which include the Swallow Barn, a small multi-purpose space used for teaching and hospitality for volunteers, staff and visitors, along with a forest school, a raised bed area for people with limited mobility, polytunnels for all year-round growing, orchards and a wood workshop. If you want to learn more about Tumbledown, visit the Weymouth Town Council website, where you will find all the information. Walk-in clinics and community outreach are making it easier than ever to get protected from COVID-19 for the current spring programme. NHS in Dorset is encouraging those most at risk from COVID-19 to come forward for their spring vaccination. Eligible groups include people aged 75 and over and those with weakened immune systems, and this can also include children and young people. Vaccinations are available through some general practice surgeries at various pharmacies and a growing network of walk-in clinics across Dorset. People who are registered as housebound and care home residents will continue to be vaccinated at home or on-site in their care home. Holly Wentworth, who's the lead vaccination nurse at Dorset Healthcare, has been running many of the vaccination clinics out in local communities. And she said, "This spring it's so important for those at risk to come forward for their COVID-19 vaccinations. For the vaccinations to work effectively, people must stay on track and have the vaccination every time they are invited to. This is currently every spring and every autumn." There is a walk-in clinic now running at the Linden unit in Weymouth on Radipole Lane, and this is going to be every Tuesday at 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. throughout April. So that's every Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. throughout April. More information on vaccinations can be found at www.staywelldorset.nhs.uk/vaccinations. There we go. The pedestrian walkway opposite the site of the George Cafe fire on Dorchester South Street reopened on Friday afternoon. Access has been restricted since the major fire early in the year. The walkway safely reconnects both sides of the street. Shoppers can now also get to South Street via Hardy Arcade, with Scriven, Specsavers and Amplifon now accessible. The building owners, private contractors Jordan and Faber Limited, will continue works within the new cordon boundaries, and Dorset Council's building control team will continue to closely monitor their progress and will provide updates when appropriate. Now, major gas works that have caused chaos on a main road in Weymouth could take another 5 weeks to complete. Gas distribution company SGN set up two-way traffic lights on Weymouth Way between Manor Roundabout and Chafee's Roundabout last week, with no end date set. It has now been revealed that the works are expected to take around 5 weeks to complete. SGN has been working closely with Radipole Lake Nature Reserve, where the suspected gas leak was, and now it's confirmed that the company are replacing 150 metres of pipelines which supply gas to thousands of homes and businesses in the area. The spokesman for SGN said, "We're continuing emergency repairs on our gas main within the nature reserve next to Weymouth Way. Temporary two-way traffic lights remain in place on Weymouth Way between Manor Roundabout and Chafee's Roundabout for everyone's safety. The lights are being manned from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to minimise the impact on traffic. We've been working on repairs in challenging ground conditions in close consultation with Radipole Lake Nature Reserve. Due to the pipeline's condition, we've taken a difficult strategic decision to replace 150 metres of pipeline, which is an important asset supplying thousands of domestic and non-domestic properties. All's going well. Our work will take approximately 5 weeks to complete. We apologise for any inconvenience and disruption. We'd like to thank the Weymouth community for their continued patience and support." A targeted road safety operation has been carried out by Dorset Police and is carried out to prevent road traffic collisions occurring along a Beauty Hotspot Road in West Dorset. Between 2020 and 2024, there were 95 road traffic collisions on the B3157 between Chickerell and Bridport. Along this stretch of road, the number of motorcyclists involved in collisions is disproportionately higher than the proportion of motorbikes on the roads. In addition to this, 81% of the collisions involving motorcycles resulted in a serious injury to the rider, whereas only 24% of other vehicle users sustained any serious injuries. On Sunday, the 6th of April, specialist road policing officers teamed up with no excuse officers, the camera safety team, the drone team and vehicle examiners in a bid to crack down on poor driving on the B3157. They were also joined by dedicated Community Speed Watch volunteers who gave up their time to work together in bringing down the speed of motorists. During the day, a total of 34 motorists were dealt with for driving over the speed limit, with one of the highest speeds recorded of 75 miles per hour in a 50 mile an hour zone. 17 vehicles were stopped under Section 163 of the Road Traffic Act and were given education on how to improve their road safety. Sergeant Gareth Thomas of the No Excuse team said, "The B3157 is a notoriously beautiful and scenic road that we want everyone to enjoy responsibly. Along the 17-mile stretch of road, there are no national speed limit sections, and the speed limit regularly changes, requiring all motorists to be alert and drive carefully. We have listened to feedback from our communities who live in the villages along the road, and hopefully this operation demonstrates that we have taken their concerns on board and will continue in our efforts to drive down any dangerous motoring behaviours." The Dorset Police and Crime Commissioner has responded to the Police and Fire Inspectorate's inspection report in the overall performance on Dorset Police. PCC David Civic said the report offers a fair reflection of the improvements the force continue to make, while recognising some of the progress already achieved. It is important to make clear that since the time of the inspection and this report being published, improvements have continued in many areas, rendering some of the data from the inspection period obsolete. Some of the inspector's findings mirror areas where I have also challenged the force to improve. For example, on call times. I'm pleased that contact officers are now answering more than 94% of 999 calls within 10 seconds, on top of a 20% increase in online crime reports, with 101 calls being answered in just over a minute. I know the force remains rightly focused on further improving this vital service to the public, and I will continue to scrutinise this work very closely. I want to make clear that I take each area of improvement seriously and will continue to hold the Chief Constable and force to account on the public's behalf to ensure these priorities are robustly gripped and positive changes are seen and felt by the public wherever possible. Alongside the areas which need addressing, I'm pleased the inspection team has acknowledged many areas of good work from the force, particularly in communicating with our communities, reducing the harm caused by antisocial behaviour and preventing crime. I know the dedicated and commitment put in by Dorset police officers, staff and volunteers on a daily basis, and it's important that this is acknowledged. A special test event organised by Great Western Railway saw 250 volunteers board a battery train to help provide valuable insight for the industry-leading trial. The high passenger load operation tested energy consumption and will form part of findings to be fed back to the Department of Transport. GWR launched its innovative fast charge battery trial in March last year and is currently compiling a report which will help to shape the future use of fast charge electrical technology on the railway. The test collected energy consumption data from 2 return trips on the Class 230 train between West Ealing and Greenford. GWR Engineering Director Dr. Simon Green said, "This is the latest phase of our trial as we continue to work with the Department of Transport to gain valuable insight into the operation of a pure battery train. Over the past 12 months, we have taken every opportunity to test both the fast charge technology and the performance of the battery train, gathering insight to be fed into GWR's decarbonisation plans as well as those of the wider rail industry." More than 900 return trips have been completed between West Ealing and Greenford, testing the technology's capability in all weather conditions and temperatures. The technology allows the train to fast charge for just about 3.5 minutes at West Ealing before restarting its journey on the Greenford branch line. GWR continues to work closely with the Department of Transport, and it is hoped the test will help pave the way for the battery train to enter passenger service in the future. So there we go. Trains to be run in the future by GWR on purely battery supply. And of course, very important that they can charge those batteries quickly. And currently 3.5 minutes on these test runs. Now, Wareham firefighter Brandon Fox will be taking on a 24-hour challenge in aid of the firefighters charity. The unique challenge started at 6 a.m. today and will see him run a 5-kilometre loop in full PPE from Wareham Fire Station every hour for the next 24 hours. In total, he's expected to run 120 kilometres or 74.5 miles. As a full-time self-employed bricklayer, 25-year-old Brandon first joined Wareham Fire Station to help assist the local community. He's decided to accept this challenge due to the incredible work undertaken by this charity. To help prepare for the challenge, he has been completing training runs in his local area in full fire kit on the treadmill at the station. Brandon said, "I've chosen to take on this challenge to support the firefighters charity because I believe this has never been achieved before. Hearing about other firefighters' stories, then receiving support from the charity gave me the inspiration to help. The charity relies heavily on donations from fundraisers, and I want to make sure their amazing work can continue long into the future." To find out more about the Firefighters Charity, you can pop along to their website at www.firefighterscharity.org.uk. Now, as Weldmar Hospice's transport partner for their Stampede by the Sea Art Trail, First Bus is helping people to explore the trail by bus. Until the 27th of May, visitors can discover a stunning collection of elephant sculptures painted by talented artists displayed across Bridport, West Bay and Lyme Regis. Visitors can also look out for First Bus' own elephant on the trail, painted by renowned artist Jason Curtis. To make planning your trip simple, First Bus has mapped out the best routes to reach key points along the trail. Passengers can hop on and off at designated stops to take in the artworks and scenic views along the way. And they're saying bus route X53 operates between Weymouth, West Bay, Bridport, Lyme Regis and Axminster daily, with buses up to every 2 hours. Additionally, Route X51 operates between Dorchester, Bridport, Lyme Regis and Axminster Monday to Saturday, giving passengers an hourly service between Bridport, Lyme Regis and Axminster. From the 25th of May, additional open top buses will be operating between Weymouth, West Bay and Bridport. Look out for the X52 to visit the art trail and enjoy views along the Jurassic Coast from an open top bus. To help experience the trail conveniently and affordably, First Bus is also offering exclusive group saver tickets available only on the First Bus app. Now, the Weymouth Group Day ticket is £10 and the Dorset Group Day ticket £15. Simon Goff, who's Managing Director of First Bus South, said public transport provides a fantastic way to engage with the Stampede by the Sea art trail. It allows people to explore at their own pace while reducing traffic congestion and lowering their environmental impact. There we go, if you want to go and look at those elephants in that art trail. Now you can join Dr. John Pearce for a talk that explores the reality of gladiatorial spectacles and reveals the grim truth behind these celebrated events at Dorset Museum and Art Gallery on Thursday the 24th of April from 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. That's 6 p.m, I should say, to 7 p.m. Violent spectacles pitting humans and animals against one another for the pleasure of the crowd are well-known markers of Roman culture, thrillingly reimagined in films like Gladiator 2. But can we understand the reality of gladiator shows behind the modern myths, especially in remote parts of the empire like Britain? Mornbury Rings and other Romano-British amphitheatres impress us still, but what happened within them? This talk will explore recent research by the speaker and others on new discoveries and older finds, including objects, images and skeletal remains. The evidence allows us to see not only the uncomfortable reality of death and mutilation in arenas like those of Dorchester, it also illuminates the networks which brought star performers, human and animal, to Britannia from the furthest corners of the empire and reveals the fan culture which sustained the holding of spectacles in its cities and garrisons. And finally, in tonight's headlines, Weymouth Town Council are to hold a service to mark Anzac Day. Members of the public are welcome to attend Weymouth Town Council's annual Anzac Memorial Service on Friday the 25th of April. The event takes place on the seafront opposite the Hotel Prince Regent, and there will be a service of remembrance at 11 a.m, so people are advised to arrive before the start. This year, to mark the 110th anniversary of the Gallipoli campaign, the Anzac Brass Band will be playing backing music to support the service before playing a short performance at the Jubilee Clock at 12 p.m. A wreath-laying service will commemorate the thousands of Australian and New Zealand volunteer service personnel who passed through camps and hospitals in Dorset during the First World War battles in the Middle East and those on the Western Front in Europe. Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor John Orell, said the Anzac service is both poignant and significant, in which the sacrifices made by personnel of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps are recognised. The service takes place opposite the Hotel Prince Regent, which was once Burden's military hospital, where soldiers were evacuated from the beaches of Gallipoli to recover from the traumas of war. Members of the public are welcome to attend the service, which begins at 11 a.m. That's Friday the 25th of April. Also to note that there will be temporary road closures in place for the service between the Pier Bandstand and Astrid Way. The closure will be in place from 10:30 a.m. and will reopen by 11:45 a.m. at the latest. And that's the end of our headlines this week. It's now time in tonight's programme to go over to Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, the gothic horror film Nosferatu was released on home video. Nosferatu is a remake of the 1922 film of the same name and is directed by Robert Eggers, most famous for The Vivitch and The Lighthouse and The Northman. I only saw The Lighthouse, didn't really like it. And Nosferatu stars Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, and Lily Rose Depp. The film revolves around a young English woman who is married and living in Germany, but she's haunted by dreams of the vampire Count Orlok when her husband travels to Transylvania to execute a real estate deal for a reclusive Transylvanian count. So it's loosely based on Bram Stoker's Dracula book, but because the original 1922 film is loosely based on it because it didn't want to be in copyright infringement. But this Nosferatu is a remake of the 1922 Nosferatu, which is loosely based on Dracula. So this was my first time watching the film. I wanted to like it because I didn't like Lighthouse, but even though the film is beautifully shot, the film is all style and no substance. The acting is wooden and overly theatrical, and the plot makes no sense. It was Oscar nominated, it might have, and BAFTA nominated, it might have won a BAFTA, I'm not entirely sure, but I give the film 2 stars out of 5. This weekend, the vigilante spy film The Amateur arrives in cinemas. The film stars Rami Malek, Rachel Brosnahan, and Lawrence Fishburne. The film revolves around a CIA cryptographer who loses his wife in a London terrorist attack, but when he discovers that the agency will not act, he blackmails them into training him and begins a one-man mission to hunt down his wife's killers. So far the film has received mixed reviews from critics who say that the plot has been seen before, stuff like Jason Bourne, but the film has heart and it's got a lot of action-packed stuff. So The Amateur is in cinemas now. That's all I have for next week. Be sure to check back next week where I will be previewing new movies Sinners by Ryan Coogler, who made the Black Panther films, and this is starring Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld, and Warfare, the new film by Alex Garland, who made Civil War, which I really liked. He also made Annihilation, which I didn't like, but he made Civil War, which I really liked. And it's like a Navy SEALs indie movie thing. So now also Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out on home video next week, but I will not be previewing that because I already reviewed it back in December, I think, or January. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Sir Andrew. It's now time in this week's programme to go to the Met Office for the Saturday evening weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Craig Snell.
Hello there, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office. As we go through the next few days, the weather is certainly going to be much more changeable than what we have been used to over the last few weeks, with rain already moving in across many western parts as we go through the course of tonight, and actually reaching all areas as we start Sunday morning, but probably not too much in the east, but still a few splashes, I think, here. But with the cloud and rain around, it'll be a milder night for most of us compared to recent nights. Exceptions up across the far west of Scotland. We could just see a touch of frost here as we start Sunday morning, but elsewhere, generally looking at temperatures not much lower than about 5 to 7 degrees. So overall, as we start Sunday across England and Wales, more in the way of cloud in the sky, with some outbreaks of rain continuing to clear their way eastwards. More of a cheerier start across Scotland and Northern Ireland, but even here, as the day goes on, we start to see some showers move in from the west, and really for most of us into the afternoon, it's going to be a mixture of bright spells and a scattering of showers. Some of these showers will be on the heavy side, potentially the odd rumble of thunder, and maybe turning a little bit wintry across the mountains of Scotland. For all of us, temperatures down on recent days, generally reaching the low teens, could still just hang on to a little bit of warmth in the southeast, could see highs here reaching around 16 or 17 degrees. Into the evening hours, for a lot of England and Wales actually it should turn fairly dry with some lengthy clear spells developing, but for Scotland and Northern Ireland an increase in wind with some further outbreaks of rain working their way in from the Atlantic. So quite a wet and blustery night for some parts here, but that will help keep temperatures up here around 6 to 7 degrees as our lows, but under the clearer skies further southeast we could see a touch of frost as we start the new working week on Monday. So Monday itself, for many parts of East Anglia, South East England, actually it should be a fairly reasonable day with some spells of sunshine. Elsewhere we will see further outbreaks of rain move in, interspersed by maybe a few brighter moments from time to time, and still fairly blustery out towards the west. So if you're stuck under the cloud and rain and in that breeze, it's going to be fairly disappointing compared to recently, but still potentially up to about 16 or 17 degrees in the southeastern corner. Well, if you want more detailed weather information for the weather where you are over the next couple of days, you can always check out our website or our app. But from me for now, take care and I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Craig. Now it's time for our What's On section this week. And first of all, we turn to Weymouth Pavilion. And coming up at Weymouth Pavilion, 13th of April, film Mufasa the Lion King. 14th of April, Easter pantomime Wizard of Oz. 15th of April, film Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical. 18th of April, Absolute Bowie. And 19th of April, The Counterfeit Stones. More information on those from weymouthpavilion.com, where you can also book tickets and see the wider range of programme at the pavilion, or by calling the box office on 01305 783 225. Turning to the Know That Fort, through to the 21st of April, the Easter Wonderland, including Easter egg hunt, Wonderland croquet, Ravens riddle competition, Easter bonnet dress up, Spot the White Rabbit trail, and the Hatter's Tea Party games in the family room, and much more. 3rd of May to the 11th of May, VE Day commemorations. The 17th of May, the Cold Wall Bunker will be open again, and 24th of May to 1st of June, Castles and Dragons. More information on all those things at the Knowth Fort at knowthfort.org.uk. Just one event from Arts Reach, taking us to the end of their programme this time of year. 11th of May, the Surteria Tours, where music is at home at Cerne Abbas Village Hall. More information on that and tickets at artsreach.co.uk. Talk on the Tolpuddle Martyrs by Professor Philip Martin on Thursday, April the 24th at 7:30 at the Dorford Centre, Bridport Road. It's about the Tolpuddle Old Chapel, Grade 2 listed Wesleyan Methodist Church, built by some of the men who actually went on to become the Tolpuddle Martyrs. The talk is free, but if you'd like to make a donation of £5, that would be appreciated. Also on the 24th of April, a talk on nursing during the First World War. This will take place at 2:30 p.m. at the St Aldham's Church Centre, Spa Road in Weymouth, organised by the National Trust South Dorset branch. Cost is £5 or £4 for members. The fee includes refreshments and you don't need to book in advance. And on April the 25th at the Centenary Club in Jubilee Sidings, Weymouth, 6:45, local bands are coming together. Includes a violin shop, Replay the Cats, Nick Capaldi and friends. Tickets are £10 and this goes to support local charities, and the contact number is 01305 859 310. Finally, church services this weekend. 8 o'clock communion at All Saints Church Wyke, 9:30 communion at All Saints Church Wyke, which will be the Palm Sunday service with palm crosses, and 11 o'clock communion service at St Edmunds at Weymouth. on Lanehouse Rocks Road. Just to say that our quiz will be on as ever tonight at 7:30 p.m. It's free. It's family friendly and all are welcome to join us. So do look out for that if that's of interest to you and there's nothing on the TV you want to watch tonight. If you've got any news or stories for us that you want to share with us, then do drop us a line. Our email is news@wykeregis.tv. We always like to hear from you. And that brings us to the end of this week's programme. That's all we've got for you this week. We hope you have a good weekend. Unfortunately, I think the weather's in for a change, but we have had a nice week. Hope the weekend's good for you. Hope the week ahead is good for you. If you're on your Easter holidays, please enjoy your holidays and take a nice break away from your normal work or school activities. And we will be back with you at 6 o'clock next Saturday evening. So it just remains for you to say good night and have a good week. Good night.